You're watching this News 9 special with me, Jonathan. Man versus animal conflict has always been spoken about, but it is that time of the year when forests burn up due to the dry season and intense temperature. Adding on to this, due to the handiwork of a few miscreants, forests are going up in flames and acres of greenery is being destroyed. This has created a huge void in our wildlife. Animals are bearing the brunt of it and the lung spaces are reducing too. In this News 9 special, we bring to you two such wildfire encounters, one from Turahalli Forest near Rajarajeshwarinagar and a series of hills being reduced to ashes in minutes in Kanakapura. Take a look. Fire breaks out at Turahalli Forest. A fire broke out on the edge of the Turahalli Forest near an apartment complex in the periphery of the forest range. The incident came to light in the wee hours of January 26th morning when the security guards at a private apartment noticed the fire near the apartment complex located towards the minor forest side in Hosahalli. They immediately called the nearby fire station. Fire and emergency service personnel rushed to the spot. Residents aid rescue operations. A grassy patch of land had caught fire and it was spreading. Fire personnel, with the help of residents, doused the fire in about an hour, but they had to battle the darkness before doing so.
In the night around 1 o'clock, we were alerted there is a fire. And immediately a few of our securities and Mr. Murli, one of our MC member, immediately called up fire station, and in the meantime they came here and they started dosing the fire as much as possible, and thanks to the fire brigade which arrived in about 20 minutes time, and we could curtail the fire going inside, because last year we had a very bad experience during March, April and August where we have to struggle almost about 6 to 7 hours to douse the fire. It was a very bad incident.
We visited the spot and noticed that over 2 acres of land had been reduced to ashes, quite literally.
Well, the month of September as well as October last year, it was quite a painful task for the residents around the Turahalli Forest area, keeping in mind that there were several wildfires which were seen. Now, they had termed that this particular wildfire could be because of many reasons, and yet again, keeping in mind that this is a dry season, that is the December and the January season is quite dry, there is yet another forest fire which has been reported from the Turahalli Forest region. Let's just take you through what exactly has happened near the Shobha Forest View area. Now, this is the place where we are standing exactly. Close to 2 acres of land has been completely reduced to dust because of several activities which takes place in this particular region. Well, this area now has become unfit for cultivation. This particular area is unfit to be called as a forest region as well. Even though this is right outside the forest area, what should be noted is that this is quite dangerous because this is right outside. This is just 30 meters away from the fence which has been put, which says forest area, and it has been cordoned off as well. Even though this is what has happened, you can clearly see that it has just entered the forest region here. This is a particular fence which has been put by the forest department, and they have already mentioned that no one's allowed to enter this area as well. But even though this is a small quarter of the forest area which has been burnt, and you know, the flora and fauna has been affected in this particular region, this is because the residents surrounding this apartment here, that is surrounding this side of the forest, they were quite alert and they were on their toes to ensure that they could ensure that the fire could be doused in the right time. If that was not done, then clearly, let alone the entire forest would have been reduced to ashes.
Political goons and realtors encroach forests, says residents. Land mafia's involvement in encroachment, says residents.
The increase in population has caused a lot of damage in the first place. So on grasslands were all connected, like species like Great Indian Bustard and blackbucks were all throughout the country. They were traveling through the grasslands. Because of increase in the population, they had to there's no other way. There's no place in the city. So they've slowly come towards the forest and at the fringes they started doing a lot of commercial activities, and also a lot of encroachment has been happening. So where the whole place is becoming into a small island, small pockets of forest where the animals will get stuck in there. And then the end of the day, if the fire something like this happen, all of them have to go into the farmlands to feed on crops and things like that. And definitely it'll also run into another conflict.
In a year, we see such incidents at least about 10 to 12 times. And during summer, it's very difficult for us. It's a very prime land, very close to the beautiful forest here, and the possibilities are there.
Forest fire usually happening naturally is very rare. Most of the times it is man-made, and it is for the selfish nature of the men here, maybe political or whatever reasons they want to encroach, and this is the only land left in Bangalore, pristine land left here. Encroachment is the main reason, because land anyone will feel eager to and encroach and make it their own.
Not just that, the residents suspect that the forest fire in Turahalli is the handiwork of some miscreants in the area. The residents said that there were many liquor shops around and people would come to the forest every day after the shops close. One look at the surroundings, you will be shocked to see the ambience in the area.
You have seen there are a lot of liquor consumption goes here in the night, and illegal activities like you name it, like from drug to everything, and people come here, they spend time smoking, and that may be the reason.
The land mafia, political goons and realtors have encroached upon patches, even as the forest department had identified the locations and is battling the cases in courts. Many set patches of the forest on fire only to make the situation worse. That is not all. Many times people dump garbage in the forest or enter the forest for illegal activities. As a matter of fact, it was the residents who got into action and curtailed the fire from spreading deep into the forest. Well, Turahalli Reserve Forest, which is spread across 579 acres of land, is a crucial forest patch as it is located near Bengaluru city. It's time people realize that this lung space is being depleted at a really fast pace, and this is something which cannot be entertained. Two hills at Kanakapura up in flames on Republic Day. Flora and fauna bite the dust in Kanakapura forest range. While the entire country was celebrating the 71st Republic Day on Sunday, the residents near the Jankal Hills in Kanakapura were trying to douse the fire, which had engulfed a series of hills. The hills, which are famous for the exotic birds and reptiles, were reduced to ashes in minutes. The hills, which were green, wore a thick black blanket of ash. A day after the incident, News 9 crew reached the spot to check the current situation of the forest cover. News 9 crew contains the wildfire from spreading en route to the Jankal Hills in Kanakapura, which was burnt completely on 26 January. There was a wildfire in the making. Some miscreants had set an entire patch of land on fire, which could have set off a massive wildfire near the forest area. With the help and expertise from an environmentalist and wildlife rescuer, we were successful in dousing the fire. As a matter of fact, even small kids from the village pitched in to put off the wildfire. After putting off the fire, we reached Jankal Hills, which was nothing like the people described it. Behold the Black Hills of Kanakapura.
One such situation which has already begun in the month of January is in Kanakapura, where I am currently standing. Well, let's just take you through as to what exactly is happening at this particular moment. Well, you can see far off distance acres of land being reduced to dust. All you can see is black spots. All you can see is the leftover ashes of the flora and fauna which is there. This is a particular region which is known for reptiles, the kind of snakes which will be present here, monitor lizards will be present here. But even after all of that, if they have to face such a plight, it is because the humans are the ones which are trying to take advantage of the situation. They're trying to reduce all of this forest into just ashes. That is exactly what we can see. If this is the situation, well, here you see all we have is this kind of dust, this kind of ashes which is present in Kanakapura. This is for acres of land in Kanakapura town, where it is very close to the Kanakapura town now, and several of the environmentalists have been coming in. They have been trying to ensure, they are trying to spread awareness amongst the people, but even after all of that, somewhere the people have been negligent towards ensuring that they can save the environment, they can save the forest area across of the world.
What are the reasons for wildfires?
Firstly, with respect to the forest fires which are seen in most of these regions, what do you have to say? What is the main cause for such forest fires?
So first of all, in India, we do not have any kind of natural fires. So all the fires in India are man-made. So this is one of the fires, I think, it put by the cattle herders. So usually there are a lot of reasons for the forest fires. So like what happened in Bandipur is because the villagers were upset about the wild human-animal conflict happening in and around the area. So this could be a reason where the herders want more grass to grow sooner. So that's why they have put fire.
How can Forest Department keep a check on miscreants? Forest officials, along with other volunteers, are more alert now and hope no such incidents occur.
One of the important preventive measures is to make sure that the forest department works in coordination with the BBMP and BDA. For example, this place, whatever that has been burnt backside, this place belongs to BDA.
We are very much in touch with the forest department, and they are very helpful, and we are also helping in every possible way they can, because the staff is very less.
Oh, definitely, forest department is doing like everything, all like whatever they can do. So there been street plays around the villages where they can usually fire happens and things like that. They're trying to educate the school kids by doing a lot of activities and talking them about the human animal conflict and things like that. And in terms of the place, they also do something called D-line. So that's the dividing line where they burn the forest by themselves, so that if at all catches the fire won't spread to the other side of the forest. And also if there are roads in the forest, they do something called as fire lining. So they burn the forest, lot of the grass on the right and left side of the road. Even if the incident like someone throwing a cigarette or a small fire, it shouldn't turn it into a huge fire.
It's time people pay heed to climate change. None can forget the dramatic visuals of 2019 wildfire in Bandipur, where the flora and fauna were up in flames and how the activists were at the spot, trying to curtail the situation. Back to the current day scenario, we should not forget that these wildfire incidents we have highlighted are the first ones this year. Incidents like these are usually reported only in June due to the dry grass, but the fire incidents have occurred early in the year.
Like somewhere the awareness is not there amongst people, because they feel that their entire field, if it's burnt, then there'll be fresh soil which will be there. The fertility of the soil will improve. There'll be better yield, which they believe. What do you have to say? How can we go ahead, spread awareness amongst people? Somewhere, do you feel somewhere they're negligent about the forest area which is there?
So definitely in that term, so especially grassland habitat and scrub jungle habitat has been completely neglected by people and the government as well. So they feel grasslands are the wastelands. That kind of biodiversity here is really rich. For example, now it's winter months and there'll be a lot of migratory birds coming from a lot of different countries. So especially raptors, so birds of prey. So their major habitat is grassland. So like we've been talking about how many species of birds and animals would have been here. So this is a prime habitat for pythons as well. So there'll be a lot of pythons and chameleons and things like that. So I don't think they would have escaped this fire at all. Usually in the hot summer months we'll have this problem of forest fire and things like that, but then this year, so this has been already too hot, and then the whole place has been dried up. So even a small like a cigarette or a BD which people throw after the smoke can cause such a big fire and damage a lot of things. So this is completely man-made. So they can put fire whenever it's dry. So this is coming sooner and sooner, and there are a lot of summer months ahead of us. There will be a lot of troubles like coming in.
Keeping in mind that these forest fires are happening well in advance, somewhere even after educating people this is happening, what more can be done to ensure that this does not continue in the future, because we are losing out on the exotic species which we have. But even after that, the migratory birds are there. There are several such species which will be coming here, but we are losing out on all of that. The koala in Australia, for that matter, they are on the verge of extinction. So we are losing out on our ecosystem.
It's high time that everybody should turn nature conscious. So if the green spark don't come in people, it's very difficult to save the whole planet. So everybody should aware of what are the things that's been happening, like even the smallest of forest fires. So how much damage it will cause to the ecosystem and things like that. I feel education is the key. We need more awareness among people, and like everybody should take part in it to conserve.
Even awareness amongst public is a must to ensure such incidents don't occur in the future.
Whenever we see any of the encroachments, we go out and alert the forest departments. Ultimately, it's the forest department which has to make sure that the encroachment is reclaimed. That's number one. Why we should do that as citizens is because otherwise the nexus will go on without anybody's notice. The moment the citizens wake up and do their bit, I think it sends the right kind of messaging to whoever is involved.
When there is a forest fire, it is a very rocky area. You cannot take the fire engine inside. You will have to go trekking, carrying water and the beaters, and you will have to do it. And sometimes in the night and sometimes in the noon. And it is very, in the sunny days like this, and if it is windy, it's very fast. So we go in groups and help the staff, and many volunteers come, and we try to douse the fire and trying to, cordon off and try to douse the fire.
One such incident which had taken place in the year 2019 in Bandipur does not repeat, because already in the month of January we have seen that across the world, like Australia, Amazon forest, all of them have caught fire because the mankind, that is the people, have been going ahead and they have been ensuring such wildfires have been happening. Even though the forest department and the government have been saying that they are working towards ensuring that they spread awareness and such forest fires do not happen, one can only hope, and one can be cautious enough to ensure an incident like Bandipur does not repeat in the near future. With camera person Rajarajeshwarinagar, this is Surat for News 9, Bengaluru.